World-famous bedtime stories from Mom. Today's story is The Pied Piper. The village of Hamelin is truly beautiful. Behind the sparkling sunshine over the large hills flows the Blue River. And the children play joyfully throughout the village. Yippee faster! The children shout and enjoy behind the carriages. At the fountain, the laughter from playing with water never stops. Oh look! Who can jump higher? Me. I am the best. The children bloom with laughter as they compete to see who can jump farther, higher. The adults are happy to see all these scenes. Nothing is as beautiful as the laughter of these children. The villagers start their day with the sound of children's laughter. Hamelin is indeed the perfect place for children to play. One day something strange happened in the village. Squeak, squeak! Suddenly rats appeared from somewhere. Rats swarmed the streets and alleys. Eek rats! Rats! People shouted loudly. Small black rats, large gray rats. Skinny rats, fat rats. The village was taken over by a variety of rats. The children ran around the alleys in shock. Mom, there are too many rats. Don't worry, it will be solved. But inside, the adults were also very worried. The village was in chaos because of the rats. The peaceful daily life of Hamelin was disturbed. This can't go on, we need to do something. The villagers began to worry about solving the rat problem. The peaceful beauty of the village of Hamelin was shattered. People's daily lives had completely changed. Everywhere you go, squeak, 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 it can be heard. Rats swarmed the stores, devouring bread, cookies, and candies. All our food is gone. The store owner sighed, hands on his head. Rats are everywhere in every home. Beds, dining tables, chairs were taken over by rats. The blankets have holes. Because of the rats. Children ran to their mothers in shock. Rats squeaked and devoured bread, sausages, milk, whatever they found. Even door frames, floorboards, chairs were gnawed away. Oh no, our house is falling apart. The villagers began to face serious troubles because of the rats. It's terrible, we can't live because of the rats. The villagers tried their best to find a solution. They plugged rat holes and set traps. Even cats were released to catch the rats, but there were too many. Meow meow. Even the cats turned their tails. Dogs shivered in fear. Horses startled and ran away somewhere. Even the playground was just squeak squeak. We can't go on like this, we need stronger measures. The villagers gathered to think of a solution. But it was insufficient to stop the invasion of rats. The village was turning more into a world of rats. The peaceful daily life of Hamelin was now completely turned upside down. People were suffering greatly because of the rats. What should we do? Is there still hope for the village? The villagers could no longer bear it. We can't go on like this. Something must be done. So they all headed to the mayor's house together. Upon arriving at the mayor's house, "Please, please help us." The people cried out with voices full of worry and fear. The mayor had drooping cheeks and a protruding belly. "We can't live because of the rats. We're starving because they've eaten all the food. Please get rid of the rats, please, quickly." The voices of the people grew louder and louder. The mayor, seeing all this commotion, pondered. Oh dear, what a headache. But he couldn't just ignore it. So the mayor had an idea. Right, that will do. The mayor clapped his hands to get everyone's attention. Here, this box is full of gold coins, the mayor announced, lifting a large box. Whoever can rid our village of the rat infestation will be rewarded with this box of gold. The people's eyes widened at the sight of the box. Wow, that's a lot of gold. But how can we drive out so many rats? The rats are increasing day by day. Now hope and doubt intermingled among the people. Can someone really solve this big problem? Will the offer of gold bring a new change to the village? As the news of the gold reward spread throughout the village, expectation grew in everyone's hearts. Now a hero will appear to save our village. Hopeful whispers began to emerge among the people. But doubt also grew. Really, who can eliminate so many rats? Will such a person really come to our village? Some still raised their voices in worry. One day, adventurers and brave ones who heard the mayor's offer tried to challenge. But one by one, they had to give up in front of the endless wave of rats. Ah, this is impossible. Even the bravest ones couldn't do anything. Then one day a stranger appeared in the village. Wearing a pointed hat and a red cloak, he held a mysterious flute in his hand. I will solve your problem. His voice was filled with confidence. The stranger went to the mayor and said, I will rid you of the rats. The mayor was so happy he beamed with joy. Thank you so much. If you can do that, I'll give you this box of gold. The villagers gathered around to hear this news. Can that man really get rid of the rats? How can he control so many rats with a flute? Curiosity and anticipation sparkled in their eyes. The arrival of the stranger brought new hope to the village. Can he really solve the rat problem as promised? In the village square, the moment the stranger began to play his flute, something amazing happened. Pirala pirali piralarilari. The flute's sound wrapped around the alleys, spreading like magic. Instantly, rats began to peek out curiously. Look over there. The rats are coming out. People shouted in surprise. From every house, every alley, rats poured out all at once. The villagers couldn't close their mouths at the sight. What's happening? It's like magic. Children were startled but amazed. The rats moved as if dancing, following the sound of the flute. The man began to walk slowly, playing his flute. The rats lined up behind him, following his lead. Look, the rats are following the man. The villagers watched this extraordinary scene with awe. The procession of the man and the rats continued without stopping, leaving the village of Hamelin and beginning to cross a large hill. The rats were completely enchanted by the sound of the man's flute, as if under a spell. Wow, it's amazing. All the rats have disappeared. The children could not hide their astonishment and joy. The procession of the man and the rats grew farther and farther away, and the villagers could only stare blankly at the sight. Now the sound of rats scurrying had vanished from the village. Only the man's flute music spread far beyond the hill. Could this mysterious flute music bring peace back to the village? Hope began to rekindle in the hearts of the people of Hamelin. The march of the man and the rats continued, reaching the blue river beyond the hill. Pyri pyri pirilili pirilili. The sound of the flute still spread magically along the riverbank. The man stepped into the river, continuing to play his mystical flute. Astonishingly, the rats began to jump into the water one by one. As one rat leaped in, the others followed in a line, disappearing into the water. "Look, the rats are jumping into the river." The villagers gathered at the riverbank to watch this scene. As the rats vanished into the water, a smile of relief bloomed on the faces of the people. Hooray! All the rats are gone. As the last rat disappeared into the river, the villagers cheered. They threw their hats high into the sky and started to dance around. "Finally, our village has found peace again." After all the rats had vanished into the river, the village began to return to its original state. "Now our children can safely play again." Families embraced each other, sharing their joy. Thanks to the magical sound of the man's flute, Hamelin village was able to overcome a great crisis once again. The villagers regarded him as a hero and began preparations to give him the promised gold. The Pied Piper returned to the village to find the mayor. "Mr. Mayor, I have eliminated all the rats. Now please give me the gold." His voice was filled with the expectation of keeping the promise. However, the mayor's response was not what he expected. "Isn't this enough?" The mayor, reluctant to give away a whole box of gold, offered only 5 gold coins. "What? Is that not against our agreement?" The man raised his voice in anger and disappointment. "That's all I can give." Faced with the mayor's firm refusal, the man's expression changed drastically. Filled with anger, he left without a word. The villagers, witnessing this scene, were enveloped in unease. The next morning at a very early hour, the sound of "Ipiralilipirilili" from the flute began to be heard. The flute music spread far along the alleys. As if drawn by the sound, children in pajamas came out of their homes. The children, rubbing their eyes, followed the sound of the flute. And the Pied Piper also played his flute and walked somewhere. The sound of the flute grew fainter, and the figures of the children disappeared into the mist. As soon as the day broke, the village was in turmoil. "The children are gone." People searched frantically for the children throughout the village. But nowhere in the village could the children be seen. Nor was the sound of their laughter heard again. Instead, the sound of adults crying filled the air. "Bring back our children!" The desperate cries of parents filled the alleys. But the piper and the children had already vanished into the mist. Hamelin had now become the loneliest village in the world. A village without the laughter of children, bearing an emptiness that could not be filled by anything.